All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. We are back for the final game of the Women's World Cup qualifiers of the UEFA sort of stage of it. It hasn't got a real name. It's very cobbled together, but it should be very interesting tonight. England taking on Ukraine after the 4-0 defeat to Spain, Harry. A lot of work for England to do tonight, and they will be relying on results elsewhere. So not an ideal situation. Obviously, if they lose, either way, they will be in the playoffs. They've still got a great chance of going to the World Cup, but their chances of qualifying tonight do seem incredibly slim.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that tonight is now more about performance than result. I think a lot of people, of course, it is still somewhat doable if Spain slip up, but relying on the world champions to slip up is a big risk. So yeah, I think that a lot of people will understand that tonight is more about seeing the performance level raised. England have to play better than they did at the weekend. It wasn't good enough against Spain. It wasn't a strong enough showing of what this team's about. And yes, it's a weaker opposition in Ukraine, but I think from a fan's point of view, a lot of people, including ourselves, want to see England go out there tonight, put on a better performance and show everyone the kind of levels they can find. You know, scored 6 against Ukraine in the reverse fixture. They're the levels we want to see tonight. Got to bounce back from what was a really disappointing evening on Saturday. But yeah, at the end of the day, it looks like the result could mean very little. But as we always say in football, you've got to do your job on the pitch, and then whatever else happens elsewhere happens. So England can only focus on what they can control tonight, and hopefully Iceland will do them a favour.
Yeah, indeed. If Spain don't drop points, the result doesn't matter tonight, but it's about the performance. It's about, I guess, filling England fans with confidence again after what was a dismal showing against Spain. There's huge caveats around that. I think the timing of these games, and again, we don't want to give excuses. The performance was still incredibly poor, but the timing of this games are less than ideal, and I think the format of qualifying being so difficult doesn't really make much sense. But either way, England will likely be in the playoffs now. They could still qualify automatically tonight if results go their way. That would be a very ideal situation. Let's start then by taking a look at the lineups. We are in the Hill Dickinson Stadium, the first time it's hosted women's international game, obviously the home of Everton. And so we'll start with the England side. It is a 4-3-3 for England tonight. In goal, Hannah Hampton keeps her spot in the 11, despite a bit of a difficult performance against Spain. In the back four, Letitia comes in at right back. Carter, Morgan and Neve Charles alongside her. 3 changes from the back four that started against Spain. In the midfield, Stanwell Walsh keep their spots, but Blinkilda Brown replaces Ella Toon, who just didn't look fit at all in that Spain game. And a front three of Lauren Hemp, Alessia Russo and Lauren James remaining unchanged. So a couple of changes in there for England. Is it less? Is it more than you expected, Harry? What are you thinking of this team?
It's a lot less, to be completely honest. I think one change in the front 6 is very, very surprising, and I think that the other 5 players can count themselves quite lucky that they are still in this starting 11. That is a big surprise, not only from a rotation point of view, because we usually expect to see the front 3 chop and change across the international break, but I think clearly Wiegman understanding that those players need to raise their levels. So an interesting way to go about it, but I'm very surprised that we have not seen any changes in that front 3 and the midfield pivot stays the same. Defensively, we do see change, and that is something that I think is very, very encouraging. That is a backline that are in need of a clean sheet. When you get torn apart by an attack like Spain's, it makes sense to see 3 changes, and especially for the fullbacks coming in today, Letitia and Charles need to put in a strong performance, and same with Jess Carter. If she can just add a little bit of experience to that back line, and hopefully with Hannah Hampton, who, as you say, didn't play very well on Saturday, she also needs a clean sheet, and hopefully between all of them, they can keep Ukraine quiet tonight. Shouldn't be too difficult, but we did concede in the away game against Ukraine, so it's one of those where I think England will really want a clean sheet tonight, but I'm baffled that there aren't more changes. I'm really surprised that Hemp, Russo and James have all kept their spots.
Yeah, from a selfish Chelsea fan and as a fan of watching Lauren James actually play football point of view, I'm a little bit disappointed to see her start, because this feels to me, and I know we've still got the chance of qualifying tonight, but this feels to me a bit of a pointless game against an opposition we know we can beat 6-1, and we're still playing Lauren James. Feels very unnecessary. The way I would look at it with the front 3, and just to play devil's advocate to what you're saying there, is that there wasn't much more. They weren't great, the front 3 in the England game, in the Spain game, but there wasn't much more they could have done. England never really got the ball to them. And so I think playing them tonight is understandable if England want to get this result done early. They've got their strongest front 3. on the pitch, I think it makes sense from that perspective. Where it doesn't make sense is that we've still got so many players, England, where we're looking at the 2027 Women's World Cup, and there's so many players that are on the fringes and need those opportunities. And this feels like a great time to give them opportunities, because we're probably not going to have friendlies now in October, because we're going to have to play the qualifiers. And so what you're looking at then is that you'll have to play your full strength side in those games. It then comes back around to the Nations League, which for whatever reason we actually try and win, and never do. But so we'll probably play the strongest team in there. So where does Freya Godfrey get a chance?
Yeah.
Where does Beaver Jones get minutes? Where do these players? Where does Jess Park, who still hasn't played much for the England national team, get minutes? It's good to see Blinker Brown in there, but I just think, where are the young players? Even in the back line, it's great that we're seeing different people given opportunity, different people taking the minutes. But I could tell you how Niamh Charles, Jess Carter, and Maya Le Tissier will perform in an England shirt. So it does just feel like a waste opportunity. And again, I guess it comes down to the squad a bit, but because there's not too many young players in there, and that's another issue. But I guess we were preparing for that Spain game, wanting to go and win it, wanting to go through automatically. But this is the situation now. But you could have had a Kendall in there over Stanway, who looked knackered in the Spain game. You could have played Grace Fisk, who, I mean, what is the harm in playing Grace Fisk, giving her that opportunity to impress? And if she does, maybe she's in the squad rather than just Carter going into the next World Cup. But I think it's a strong team. It should have no problems against Ukraine. I think that's very much the situation. If you rotate, you have that, I guess, get out of jail free card, don't you? If, they're not the England starting team. There's no excuses. This team, with the attackers they've got in the midfield they've got, have to go out and win this comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at that front three. There should be goals. Yeah, as you say, if it's a Godfrey on debut, then you can kind of make an exception for a 2-0 victory. But I mean, that front three should have 4 or 5 goals between them. It's that strong, and yeah, it's really frustrating. We know how good Alessia Russo is for England. Give Beaver Jones a start. We know that Lauren Hemp is good enough to play for the Lionesses. Obviously, let Godfrey get her debut on home soil in front of what looks to be a very strong crowd at the Hill Dickinson against the weakest opposition in the group. I think it's a massive missed opportunity for a lot of players tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as you say, Russo is nailed on as the striker for England. There's no question marks there. But if she gets injured, is there anyone in this England squad who you would be confident in stepping up into that role? No, because they haven't played enough for England. So that would be a bit of a shame that we haven't tested things. A lot of the live chat echoing that thought. Laura saying Freya Godfrey needs to find a Scottish grandparent from somewhere. I don't think it'll be long before Freya Godfrey is in the England team. Unfortunately, she doesn't play for Arsenal. I think if she stayed at Arsenal, she'd be a starting England player. That's how it tends to work. Leanne, welcome to the stream as well, saying what do young players have to do to play in this squad? I think a great point. There weren't many taken in the squad, and we haven't seen many given opportunity in this break. Sonny saying was hoping for Beaver Jones or Godfrey to start. Yeah, I'd like to see, again, I'd like to see those players given the opportunities. And let's take a look at the Ukraine side then. 4-2-3-1 according to FootMob. Again, to any Ukrainians watching, apologies if we butcher any of the pronunciations. All of the players are out of position. We're going based off of the FootMob lineups. In goal, it is Boklak, a back four then of Savka, Olkova, Shmatko, and Shaninyuk is the back four. Midfield pivot of Kotik and Zaborovets. And then across the three, Molodiuk, Kohut and Konina. And leading the line, it is Boychuk. It's been a very tough qualification process for Ukraine. Bottom of the group, 2 goals scored, 16 conceded, yet to record a point. It's going to be difficult to see them giving England too much to think about today. But we did see, when they played them earlier in this competition, them really test England for 45 minutes, drop into a low block, and make life quite difficult for them.
Yeah, exactly that. They've got to look to be frustrating. Once again, they've got to look to sit deep, just absorb pressure and try and make life as difficult for England as possible. And that is a big challenge. But as you say, although they did concede 6 in the end, for the majority of that first half, they gave England a very decent challenge. And the Lionesses did take their time to find the breakthrough, in that game earlier in the qualification campaign. But yeah, I feel for Ukraine. They've been dealt to be honest, I mean, maybe bar the France, Netherlands, Ireland group, this is the group of death. They've been really dealt a horrible quartet of teams to go up against. And yeah, I think they've challenged decently in some of the games. They were they did all right in one of the Spain games as well. So they were disappointed to not pick up a point, but it's a very difficult situation for them to be in with such strong teams. But yeah, they'll look to be frustrating for England tonight. And hold on for as long as possible. You expect England to find a goal eventually, but they want to put up a strong performance and not concede too many.
Yeah, I mean, Ukraine are very happy to be in that top qualification group bracket because they are the 35th ranked nation in the world. And if you look at some of the UEFA nations around them, they're all in the second group. I mean, you've got teams in there like Wales who are higher ranking than them, and they're in a group with the team ranked 1st, 3rd, and 17th in the world, and they are down in 35th. Was always going to be incredibly difficult. So they're punching above their weight by being here, and I think it just shows another problem with this qualification format, because Ukraine could have had a really strong qualification format, and instead, if they're in a group where you've got a bit more of a balance to it, but instead they've just been trounced every week, and I don't really see how that benefits Ukraine at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the groups are a bit weird. You know, you've got some groups where you've got 3 top quality sides and only one of them can automatically qualify. You've got some groups, as you say, for teams like Ukraine. I mean, they would have turned out and thought there's not a hope in hope around that they can get qualify automatically, let them get into the playoffs. So yeah, it's been a very frustrating qualification campaign for most teams, really. I think going into tonight, there's bound to be some very disappointed people. I mean, if France lose to Ireland tonight, Ireland would automatically qualify for the World Cup, which would be incredible for them. But France would then also be France and Netherlands would then be forced into a playoff. Yeah. You know, you'd have France, England, and Netherlands all going through the playoff system. That's utterly ridiculous.
I think the forgotten team in that group was Poland, who were brilliant at the Euro. Yeah. Had some really strong players, had no chance of really competing in that group. So a bit of a difficulty there with the qualification format. Hopefully it is revisited ahead of the 2031 World Cup. They've got a bit of time to think about it between now and then. Players out onto the field, their national anthems being played. So let's dive into our predictions ahead of kickoff. So far in the live chat, 50 votes on the poll, 100% going for England. So keep those votes coming in. Let us know who you think is going to win this game. And get your if you want to get involved, get your score prediction in the live chat. We're going to start here in the studio, and we'll start with yourself, as always, Harry. What is your prediction as England take on Ukraine?
As we said before, a few moments ago, this is a very, very strong England side, so I'm expecting a very high-class performance. I am going to go for England 6, Ukraine 0. I think on home soil, it should be a commanding performance with such a strong team, and I'm not expecting the Lionesses to concede. I think that after the demolition on Saturday, they could do with a clean sheet. So I will say 6 in England. I will go for a Russo goal, a Lauren James brace. Then I'm hoping that they're all going to come off at half-time with England 3-0 up. And then in the second half, we'll see Beaver Jones come on and get a goal, Freya Godfrey come on and get a goal, and I'll go for the very expected Georgia Stanway penalty.
Yeah, I think Georgia Stanway always scores a penalty. That's mandated for England games. Yeah, this should be 7 or 8-0, really. It should be a dominant win for England. I'm going to say 2-0. And I think it's going to be... I'm going to say a Georgia Stanway penalty. No, I'm going to go for a corner goal that is like poked over like the back post by Alex Greenwood, and then a goal off the bench, Maggie Beaver-Jones. And it's just a bit of a game that we really should be taking by the scruff of the neck and just smashing them. I think, again, we'll see the same issues where we've got a team in here with England who are just so tired after playing a full season, don't really want to be playing this qualification games and just get over the line. Whereas this could be an opportunity to really impress. I think they will. I think they'll just get the job done.
I'd be very disappointed if your prediction was true and we had to wait for 2 subs to come on to find the back of the net. Yeah. So, but hopefully, I think England should come out, commanding game, score early, and put the game to bed. But yeah, you think back to the Iceland away game, you think back to the Iceland home game as well, where England just made things so much more difficult for themselves than it needed to be. Hopefully, that won't happen tonight. And I think that, you look at the quality. If it's a rotated side, you expect a slow start. But with a lot of these players playing over 60 minutes at Saturday, they should be ready and ready to go from minute 1 against a weaker Ukraine side.
Yeah, those predictions coming in then. Shell going for 3-1 England. Phil saying 11-1. Very different predictions there. Kevin bridging the gap with a 7-0 England win. And then Phoebe saying, hi guys, I think it'll be either 7-0 and we're 5-0 up by half time, or a sneaky 2-1 and we win by a penalty. That does feel like exactly one of those two situations is going to happen tonight. Should be a game England have no issues with, but we know those seem to be the games that cause England the most issues.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those two outcomes have been England's whole qualification campaign. Sneaked one over the line against Spain at Wembley, just about edged out Iceland in both the games, but then went and smashed Ukraine in away from home. So hopefully tonight will be another hammering, but it could be a traditional England just get it over the goal line and hope to hold on and take 3 points. But yeah, I think that with the significant gap in quality, there shouldn't be any problems.
Yeah, indeed. I think if there is going to be any goals tonight from Ukraine, it's likely to come through Tanya Boychuk, plays her football in the Northern Super League. I believe that's the Canada, isn't it? Plays for the Montreal Roses. Probably their biggest goal threat. And England do get us underway in this game. Russo knocking it back and we're underway for this match. Does look immediately then that England are going to be using a bit of a back three, say James tucking in from the left-hand side and Charles then bombing on. We did see a lot of this in the Spain game. One of the biggest weaknesses is that we didn't see much of Lauren Hemp playing out of position. James darting inside now well, dribbling her way through the Ukraine team who have got everyone here packed into a block. Charles looking for the cross down the left-hand side. Needs support now. And does play back to Lauren James. And here's Morgan. Across to Carter. And now with Letitia. Lauren Hemp. Plays the pass inside to Blinkilda Brown. Turns out looking for a forward pass back to Walsh. Who can shift it wide to Stanway. Now to Blinkilda Brown. Dancing on the edge of the area, but no room to drive forwards. Possession quickly won back, though, by England. Walsh poking down the right-hand side. Hemp now can lift it in towards the back post. Charles won't quite get there. And England there already showing their dominance. Unable, though, to add the finishing touches.
Yeah, just keeping Ukraine penned in, all 11 yellow shirts in the penalty area. And it's not a bad ball in from Hemp, but no one was really going to get that. Bit of an in-between ball with Russo and Charles either side of it. But yeah, an early goal will just disrupt Ukraine's rhythm because once they go a goal down, the sitting deep and defending deep, it goes out the window.
Yeah, indeed. England singing out well there for a throw. Phoebe asking, who do you guys have on the back of your shirts? I've got number... Can I show it above the thing? There you go. Number 19, Aggie Beaver Jones. You've got Neve Charles.
Yeah.
Both from the... You forget there who you got. Brilliant. Neve Charles now coming down the left-hand side. And a strong tackle there from Savka, knocking the ball out of play.
I have to say, this has got a final day feels about it. Yeah, we've got one game on, but keeping tabs on the Spain-Iceland game, keeping tabs on the game between Ireland and France. That is one thing we've got from this qualification group, is maybe a bit of drama on the final day.
Yeah, normally it's all sewn up, isn't it, by this point? And these games are mere formalities, but at least it does keep... equally, England, if Spain score tonight, it's over for England. And the game doesn't really matter, but equally, they are still in with a hope of automatic qualification tonight if Iceland can pull off a massive upset.
I'll say I'm waiting for that Spain goal notification any minute now. I can't tell whether they're going to blow Iceland out the water and completely put out any hope of England, or whether they'll wait until like the 89th minute and they'll nick a winner.
Just feel similar to the Nations League a few years ago when England and Netherlands were in the same group and they were just trying to outscore each other on the final day because they didn't have the head-to-head thing back then. They had goal difference. Obviously, now we've got head-to-head, which is why we end up in this situation. England playing down the right-hand side, Hemp ball in. It's blocked away. And now steered clear, but only as far as Jess Carter. Good inception from Malloy Duck. Forces the ball backwards. Here's Carter. Poking inside. Stanway now. Trying to wriggle room for the shot. Goes back to Jess Carter. And now moves to the right-hand side. Letitia spreading it wide with Hemp. He wants to cut in now on her left foot. Let's fly. And a comfortable claim for the Ukraine goalkeeper, Boklak. I think seeing there immediately, every time Lauren Hemp's got on the ball, isn't going to be able to provide that option on the right wing because she doesn't really have a right foot. She's trying to cut in every time, and Ukraine are nullifying her quite effectively so far.
Yeah, they're doing well. I mean, I suppose, although we have seen, she's already got a shot and has got a shot on target, has got a cross in, you'd like to think that eventually, if she can keep getting the ball into the box, it'll either be turned home by her or someone else can find the back of the net. But yeah, Ukraine will be happy to watch shots go straight down the middle of the goal all night.
Indeed, here is Blinkilda Brown turning out nicely. James now in the half space, knocking it down the line, and Charles in the foot race up against Savka gets the ball into the area, looking for Russo, bounces on towards the back post, cleared now to Kira Walsh. Walsh trying to keep this move alive. Poke it through the lines into the brilliant run of Charles, who cuts it back for Blinkilda Brown now to Stanway, but the offside flag up there on Neve Charles, I think, who just seemed to go a little too early.
Yeah, I think it must have been a tight one, to be fair. Charles does very, it's a great ball through, no matter what. Charles does very well to try and get back in after her initial cross, but it's a lovely pass through the lines in the end from Welsh. Yeah, Charles, to be fair, was comfortably offside. And she did well, actually, to make it look like she'd managed to time the run well.
Never got back onside after going beyond. Carter now clearing out of play. That's out for a Ukraine throw. News saying, hello boys, at some point the US WNT looked unstoppable and favourite for the World Cup. What went wrong and who is clear favourite? I think everyone's taking way too much from international games a year before the tournament. In the middle of the US domestic season, at the end of the European one, I'm not too worried yet about any team. I think if there was a favourite, it's going to be Spain because they go into it as the holders.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'd love Brazil as a dark horse just because they are hosting. I think that'll make a big impact. But outside of that, England and US are still going to be strong despite the fact they've not had the best weeks. We're a year away from the tournament. I'm not taking these games into consideration, really.
Yeah, all the contenders between now and the tournament next year will have a bad performance in there somewhere. Even if they win the game, there will still be a bit of a dodgy performance. So, yeah, it's until we get into those pre-tournament games, and once we get to the actual, tournament kicking off, that's when the performances really start to matter.
Indeed, and well, that didn't take long for our first goal of these evening games. And as Laura says in the live chat, and Manuel celebrating its 1-0 Spain after 5 minutes. Vicky Lopez getting that goal. Iceland not even keeping this interesting for more than 5 minutes. Head ball into the area, headed away well. Still alive here for England, though, with Lauren Hemp. Back to Stanway. Lovely exchange down the right-hand side. Hemp trying to find Blinkilda Brown. And Ukraine doing well to get rid of it there. Fullback, Shaniuk. And here is Jess Carter. Across to Morgan. Play to the left-hand side with Charles. Charles knocks it down the line looking for Lauren James. And it's poked out of play again. Savka coming across well and is able to kick it into Lauren James and win her side a throw-in. So as it stands, Spain top of the group, 15 points, would see themselves automatically through. Both England and Iceland would be into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the outcome we're all expecting, at some point tonight. And I think that England fans were always coming into this knowing that it was highly likely that the Lionesses would go through the playoffs, and well, that looks to be very much reality.
Yeah. Charles goes back now to Morgan. And here's Carter. Morgan. Plays the pass into Blinkilda Brown. Here's James. Can she switch the play now? Lauren James. Lovely ball lifted into Lauren Hemp. Hemp now plays it backwards. Letitia trying to poke it forwards into Stanway. A foul there on Maya Letitia. Was just caught by the striker, Boychuk there. And Maya Letitia, being brought down. That's just a lazy foul, really, and unnecessary because England didn't look like they were going to create anything from that.
Yeah. Just Ukraine can't afford moments like that where they just lose a little bit of discipline. She's gone charging in there and caught Letitia late for no reason. And, her side had done well to turn the ball over and force England a little bit backwards. So a bit disappointing for Ukraine, who have now got to try and deal with this ball into the box.
Indeed, and it's Lauren James over this set piece. Who can she pick out in the area? James still waiting here as the referee just sorts out some of the pushing in the area. Will now be allowed to take it, lifting it in there, and well, not really any England players in the penalty area. And it's headed away without issue. Here's Stanway. Knocking it all the way back to Esme Morgan. Stanway down the line looking for Charles. And Charles battling away. But a very physical play there from Savka. Ball thrown inside. Rousseau battling away. Clip down the line with something for Boychuk to give chase to. Morgan. Walsh. Back to Esme Morgan. Down the line looking for Niamh Charles. Who can't quite hold on to it. And it is smashed clear by Ukraine. Again, though, Letitia more physical than Boychuk. Malodjik doing well, but it's back now with Morgan, who's able to win the throw.
Yeah, a perfect start, really, from a Ukraine point of view. They've done very well, nearly got through the first 10 minutes, been very defensively solid, have made things difficult for England, and bar Lauren Hemp getting a little bit of space to fashion something goalwards on a couple of occasions. It's been nothing threatening, and they've done very well to limit England.
Yeah, indeed. Here is Jess Carter now, knocks the ball back, and England holding on to possession. And Mamo says England will get through playoffs. It's 2 legs. That is the simple thing of it, is they should have quite a nice draw in the playoffs. But the fact that, I just think it's a terrible way to do it, that only 4 European nations will actually go through the first phase of qualifying, and everyone else then has to go and qualify. It just makes it unnecessarily complicated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Letitia knocks it to the right-hand side. Here's Lauren Hemp. Plays it forwards, and it's cut out well there by Shaninyuk. And out for another England corner.
Yeah, again, just disciplined defending from Ukraine. These are the moments, though, where England can try and hurt them. Got to use set pieces. You know, an opportunity just to flood the box with white shirts and to... Because when a team sit defensive, it's usually a mismatch in the penalty area, with the defensive team having more numbers in there, but England a chance to level it up.
Ball floated in there off the post, and the goalkeeper getting away with one. There was nowhere near that delivery. Lauren James almost catching her out, bouncing off the post and falling down on top of the keeper.
Yeah, I thought wrong decision initially to go for the short corner, but a great ball in from James off the inside of the post. And suppose I'm very surprised that the goalie's managed to claim that, and it's not come back and rebounded and hit her on the back of the head and rolled over the line. Very fortunate for Ukraine there. Much better from England.
And breaking down the right-hand side. There, you'd be looking for a cross. Cuts back onto our left foot. Stanway. Now Walsh. Trying to slip it through the lines, looking for the overlapping run of Letitia. But it is one back in there by Boychuk, getting back in and doing the defensive work. Letitia trying to force her backwards. Will be a goal kick, though, for Ukraine.
Yeah, I'd like to see that Lauren James effort back again, I think. Hopefully we do get a replay, because I don't know how on earth this hasn't hit the back of the goalkeeper. It's a great ball in, it hits the inside the post, and the goalkeeper does very well to kind of fall on it and claim it.
It just falls perfectly in her hands, doesn't it?
Yeah. Usually in those instances, you see it hit the goalkeeper on the back of the head or on the back, and it rebounds back in. But yeah, falling perfectly for her to reclaim it.
There's also something from a video game where the goalkeeper's actually caught it because of some graphical error.
Yeah.
It looks like it flies around and then it just cuts back to being in the keeper's hands. Bit of an odd one, that. Carter out to the right-hand side now. Lauren Hemp carrying the ball forwards again. Still going here, Lauren Hemp, but again, Shaniuk able to deal with her. It does feel like they're very much willing to let Lauren Hemp have the ball and let her run down the right hand side. Yeah,
I'm slightly surprised she didn't take the opportunity to cut in left there when she could, and opted to go to the right of the defender. Usually that's because the defender forces the winger one way or the other, but I thought there that Hemp was really given the opportunity to choose and made the wrong decision.
Corner now then for England. Will this one be taken short again? It will be. Letitia laying it into James. Lovely ball roll from James. Continuing with the fancy footwork. Still going, James clips it in towards the back post. Carter gets away from her defender, and the header trickles over the line to take the lead for England in this game. It's brilliant from Lauren James. Creates the space for the cross and just lifts it to the back post. It's an unassuming goal, really. Jess Carter drifting off the defender and nodding it towards away from the goalkeeper, across the goalkeeper, and it just trickled home. England taking the lead in this game.
Yeah, magical for Lauren James. And this is too easy, though, from Ukraine to just let Lauren James pick it up from the short corner, drive all the way to the edge of the box and put a lovely ball in. Carter does well to get herself free. And, I mean, it's not the best header that I've ever seen, but the placement is exactly where it needs to be. She doesn't connect with it cleanly. It actually hits the side of her face, which she can laugh it off, but it does eventually roll into the back of the net. But the ball in from James is just magnificent. And Carter, gets the header all wrong, but it's in the back of the net, and that's what matters.
Yeah, hits her in the face there. It's old Cove, the centre-back, who's marking her, who just needs to panic and step onto the back of Russo as the ball comes in. And Carter's then able to create that distance, that bit of separation that just gives her the space to get the header away. And not the most beautiful header, not the most powerfully struck header, but a header that is in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Walsh into Letitia. England with so much territory dominance. Its ball floated in again. Olkova getting a header on it. Not cleared away fully, though, as Walsh keeps it alive. Here is Lauren James, who's thriving so far tonight. Niamh Charles lifting it in towards the back post. It's the on-rushing Hemp, who does make contact but can't get the shot. Here is Letitia, who clips it in there now. Russo heads up in the air and heads wide off the mark.
Yeah, much better from England now. Just starting to find a bit of a rhythm, and UK are really struggling to handle them. A lot of space now opening up in the wide channels, and England are happy just to put a bit of an aerial assault on. Balls coming in, looking for Russo, looking for back post runners, and they'll be hoping to get a second goal quite quickly.
Ukraine trying to play out. Here is Savka going down the line and can't quite hold on to it, but they are now coming forwards, and here is Molodyak. And now they're coming forwards with Boychuk. Lovely move here, Ukraine, who've gone from back to front quite quickly, trying to run across Jess Carter, who uses her body really well there, Carter, and wins back the ball. Just muscles Boychuk there off possession. And England back on the ball. Stanway playing to the right-hand side. Here's Lauren Hemp. Laura letting us know 91% possession for Spain in their game. That is frankly ridiculous.
Yeah.
But not unexpected at all, is it?
That should never happen in any game of football ever, no matter who you're playing. That is quite something.
Here is Charles. Now James. That's one of the big questions going into the World Cup, because I think one of the big things that was such a success about 2023 was that the gap between the best nations and some of the weaker nations seems to be the smallest it's ever been at a World Cup. But obviously, we do have the expanded format, I believe, going into 2027. And it's going to be a big question mark about where that quality level is, because as we've seen with some of these friendlies, there is still a big gap between some of the top nations in each confederation, or some of the top nations and the smaller nations within each confederation. Corner again for England, which they'll be hoping to have similar success to the one they scored from. James at the heart of that move once again, but an important block in there.
Yeah, still managed to make the move work despite Hemp slipping over. But again, it's good football from England. And they're playing through Ukraine very nicely. Oh, again, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Lauren James. Picks it up from the short corner, just drives inside, and this time gets caught by Kanina, who's putting the pressure on her. Just trips her up. But again, they can't handle her. Ukraine cannot handle Lauren James at the moment. Just from the short corner, she's picking up the ball and running inside. And the first time, she was let go and putting a brilliant ball that led to the goal. And that time, she's won herself a free kick.
Yeah, you've just got to let Lauren James go wherever she wants. It's what Chelsea have led into towards the back half of this season, and they've found a bit more successful than what they had, or what they were trying to do earlier in the season. And it feels like England are leaning into that today, playing Lauren Hemp out of position to put James on a more favourable side and put a structure around James, which facilitates platforming her. Ball laid off by James for Hemp, who will strike it in a big save there from the goalkeeper. Bocklack getting across the face of her goal and tipping it around the post.
Yeah, caught this really nicely, did Lauren Hemp. It's a nice layoff from James, and Hemp, hit that with some venom, and it needed saving. And goalkeeper does want to get across her goal and parry it behind.
James swings in, and it is cleared away. Morgan into Walsh, and now Blinkilda-Brown. Down the line into Carter. Space here for the cross, and she'll lift it in towards the back post. Russo heading across goal again, but too much height on that one. And no issues there for Bocklach to jump across and make the claim.
Yeah, just a bit behind her, and Russo does well, backpedaling. Does well to get something behind it and get it goalwards, but that's going to be quite a comfortable save for most goalkeepers. Very interesting, though, from that corner. Ukraine doubling up on Lauren James, which forced her to put the ball in, but by doing that, it's going to leave another England player free. So it's, equally at the end of the day, you've got to fit your feel for them, because they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. If you don't double up, she's going to run inside and cause problems. If you do double up, it's going to leave an extra player free.
Yeah, I think you've got to take that risk. You've got to stop the quality of ball going in, because as we saw there, a ball that doesn't beat the first player is nowhere near as dangerous as what we know Lauren James can do. So I think they've just got Got to put everything on Lauren James and stop her being able to impact this game.
Yeah. If Lauren James starts picking out the extra player, though, you're just like,
then you're in a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
yeah. Now with Hannah Hampton. Happy just to stand on the ball, Hampton, and now we'll look to lift it forwards. And trying to pick out James in space. It's good anticipation, though. From Safko, who can then launch the ball forward. And all the way back to Hannah Hampton.
Yeah, Ukraine will just want us to weather the storm. They'll be under a lot of pressure, obviously already conceded, but if they can now build a good gap and just give it, avoid conceding for the next 5-10 minutes, and then they can start looking at how they get to half time.
Rousseau knocking it into Niamh Charles. Charles could look down the line. Now carrying it inside. Walsh shifts it into Letitia. Now to the right hand side. Hemp holding the width. Chops in well here, Lauren Hemp. Stanway. Walsh. Hemp again. Stanway's continued the run on. Doesn't quite see her. Back to Walsh. Down the line into Hemp again. Inside to Blinkhilda Brown. On towards Walsh. Intercepted well, though, by Kunina. England back in possession now, though. And much like Spain's dominance in their game against Iceland, England with 85% of the ball from the opening 20 minutes. Morgan slipping it into Blinkhilda Brown, poked onto Rousseau, who had a huge clump of her shirt being pulled there, and it will be given as a free kick as she fails to get the pass away.
Yeah. Again, Rousseau just dropping in and Ukraine choosing to go with her, and that's fine. You can go with Rousseau as long as you remain tight, but I mean, grabbing her shirt isn't going to get you anywhere.
Well, it stopped England creating anything, and they haven't done much from the subsequent free kick, given it was so central.
True.
There is Lauren James now in space on the edge of the box. Will lift it in there again. It's touched down by Rousseau into Blinkhilda Brown through to Hemp now, breaking in towards the 6-yard box. But that is a great recovering tackle there from the fullback Shay Nyuk. It gets back in and makes a tackle.
Yeah, it does well to stick with Hemp. Hemp makes the run and she just sticks with her. It's a good challenge to prevent what would have been a certain goal. But what a ball that is from Blinkhilda into her domestic teammate. And Hemp couldn't quite beat her opponent to it, but another England corner.
Yeah, Shenyuk just seemed to be feeling a bit of discomfort there afterwards. I think landed awkwardly on her elbow. We'll try and continue on, though. Hemp playing it short into James. And you can see there them putting numbers on Lauren James. Morgan. Walsh. Out to Blinkhilda Brown and Ukraine pressing high. But England playing through it. Niamh Charles now creating space. Loads watching the box and Letitia gets under it. A great chance for Maya Letitia to get on the score sheet for England, but unable to do so here. It's brilliant play from Niamh Charles, acting like a winger on the right-hand side. Cuts it back, and Letitia has got to score that.
Yeah, that should be net bulging. Really well reworked corner from England. And Letitia just gets under it. Not the player you want. That ball falling to. But yeah, really should be 2-0. Massive chance for England. Was left in acres on the penalty spot and should, definitely be finding the target from that kind of range.
Indeed. No goals yet after 20 minutes as Oscar updates us in either the game between Netherlands and Poland or France-Ireland. Of course, a lot of talk about France and Ireland, but there is still a chance that Netherlands could go through tonight. It does feel rather slim, but there is still a chance there. Ball out of play now for an England throw-in. As Charles looks up the line. Obviously, Netherlands have a positive record over France. If it's a draw between France and Ireland, and Netherlands beat Poland, they would go through, I believe. So it's not an impossibility at all.
Yeah, definitely not. I think there could definitely be some drama between those three teams across the next 70-odd minutes. And it could be a historic night for Ireland or a pretty normal one for France.
And well, as I say that, Netherlands do take the lead in that game. According to Zato, it's Vika Kaptein who scores. Netherlands do move top of the group as it stands.
Wow.
Which after losing to Ireland in the week, putting themselves out of the favourable position, it does feel like that would be kind of incredible if the Netherlands did still end up going through top of the group.
Yeah. again, they did the hard part. They beat France, but they kind of say they put themselves in a difficult position in the week. But maybe recovering it tonight potentially. But every goal that goes in that group is going to be like it's going to be like slot machines, just go spinning around. And I couldn't tell right now. I could not tell you who's going to top that group in 70 minutes time.
No, and that's where I think the format can be brilliant. Yeah. But again, do we want it to be brilliant at this stage, or do we want it just to work and get all the the best teams to get through? Who knows? But I don't know if it's the fairest format, but it is creating an interesting spectacle this evening. Here is Hannah Hampton trying to pick out Lauren James, who passes it back into Walsh. James again now. Poking it forward. There's 3 players around there, Lauren James, and just evades them brilliantly. And whilst they're trying to find the pass into Letitia, is intercepted by Georgia Stanway, though, who gave the ball to a Ukrainian player. It's Boychuk. Think of Brown, though, coming away with possession. It's become a little bit messy in midfield there, and Ukraine holding on to the ball for their longest spell here. Shanyuk going back to the goalkeeper, who will look to play to the right-hand side now, Bochlach. And Bochlach once again will look to go long. Jess Carter, no issues heading that one forwards. Rousseau trying to find a touchdown. Here is Walsh now. Knocks out to the right-hand side. Hemp wants to take on the fullback. Brilliant work from Lauren Hemp, but it's great defending, albeit Lauren Hemp heading up there quite aggressively in the advertising boards. Now, what's your hum about? Is it because Lauren Hemp is in the penalty area there?
No, I think she's all right. It's more that Lauren Hemp's gone crashing into the sideboards, and that's not a very encouraging sign, although she's absolutely fine. So ignore me completely.
Unnecessarily aggressive there from Shania, but did deal well with the situation.
Yeah, you're right. It was running the risk when there was no need to, because that ball was 100% going to run out of play before Lauren Hemp could get there.
Ball nodded forwards, looking for Boychuk. Cut out by Carter, who can only hook it out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Ukraine, who, despite a lot of pressure in this game, have kind of held their own fairly adequately.
Yeah, done very well. I thought that while they defended pretty decently in reverse fixture, once they conceded, they really fell apart, and England found quite a few goals in that second half. One after the other. But they've done very well to dig in here and keep themselves in the game. They haven't crumbled. They haven't allowed England to run riot.
Walsh into Blinkhilda Brown. Out to Hemp on the right-hand side. What can Lauren Hemp produce? Forced backwards. Into Stanway. Now Walsh will knock it back to Letitia. Now, Shadow, welcome to the stream. Is it just me, or does Hemp look kind of uncomfortable on the right-hand side? That's not just you. That's basically all we've said for 27 minutes. Lauren Hemp does not look natural in that position. Kind of a relief, as the video going out tomorrow, which you'll see at the time, would have looked quite bad if she had an absolute stormer in that position. There are chances now for Rousseau, who blasts the ball over the bar. But yeah, Lauren Hemp it doesn't really work with her on the right-hand side, and it does create a big issue as to what England do about their fullbacks, because they don't really have anyone on the left-hand side who can tuck in if not Greenwood. They don't really have anyone on the right-hand side who can attack, because they don't have any right-backs.
Yeah.
Apart from Lucy Bronzer and Maya Letitia, but Letitia is going to be a bit more reserved. So, yeah, England have a few questions in those positions to answer ahead of the World Cup. Morgan heading down to Jess Carter. And now Hemp. Shania just standing her up. Hemp plays it into Alessia Rousseau, who's dispossessed. No issues there for Zaborovets, who knocks it back to her goalkeeper, Bochlach. Bochlach trying to lift it into the left winger there, but it's out of play for an England throw-in.
Yeah. They've done well in the last couple of minutes just to get on the ball, but there we're seeing that quality in possession is just lacking for Ukraine.
Rousseau now to Letitia. Walsh into Rousseau. Now Hemp breaking into the penalty area. And it's a bit awkward, but it does fashion across into the box. Falls now to leave Charles at the back post. And I think that's deemed a foul in there rather than a corner.
Yeah, Hemp does very well to rework this because Russo plays it straight into her stride. And it gets caught under her feet a little bit, Hemp, who does well to get the ball across, and Stanway just overruns it and then clatters into a Ukraine player.
Yeah, I think Schmatko there being caught. Carter losing out the header. I don't know how much of the ball Boychuk was playing there, but she does cause an issue for Jess Carter. England do hold on to the ball, though. Here's Letitia. Now into Walsh. It's a lazy pass. It's intercepted. And it's a right mess here at the back for England. Can Ukraine make something happen? A shot towards goal from Boychuk. Smothered without issue by Hannah Hampton.
Yeah, just messy again for England. And I said in the build-up that England need a clean sheet tonight. They need a strong defensive performance. And this is a little bit different to some of the other areas we've seen. It's just a bit of sloppiness, I think, from Walsh. Just looks to play it's not a no-look pass, but just casually knocks it out to the right-hand side without really focusing on where Letitia is, and gifts it straight back to Ukraine, who managed to fashion their first shot of the evening.
Yeah. It's not bad. I can't it's taken them half an hour, but at least they've got one away.
Yeah.
And on target. Morgan now to James. It's better than England seemed to muster up in the Spain game. I think 4 shots, 2 on target in total in that match.
Yeah.
I think even that might be too high. But yeah, not a great performance there. Haven't found the goals in this game, but they have definitely dominated the play, dominated possession, and dominated territory.
Yeah, exactly that. They've looked comfortable from start to finish so far. I think that if you told me that after 31 minutes that the only goal would have come from Jess Carter, I'm a bit surprised.
Stanway knocking it into Hemp, cuts it back, and it's cut out by Zaborovets, and out for an England corner. As Asia says, am I crazy or does Godfrey play right midfield, right wing? She's a right winger. The issue with Freya Godfrey in this England team is that Godfrey wants to come inside. It's not really an issue in a game like today because England are going to have a lot of the ball. They're going to be very high. And so it doesn't... tactical fits aren't really too much of a concern. But when you don't have a fullback that's going to overlap, because Letitia isn't a player who is naturally an attacking player, you need someone on there who's going to hold the width. And obviously Hemp is used to doing that on the left-hand side. Not really work on the right side because she's not right-footed. So we haven't seen her put a cross in that was very successful yet. Walsh into Letitia. Now to Walsh. Morgan. Back to Kira Walsh. Who clips it into the area and a comfortable claim there again from Boklach. Again, what we're seeing from Ukraine is they're forcing England to play on the right-hand side because they know England's left-hand side is probably the stronger. And I think the partnership there of Charles and James is a bit more of a natural pairing. And so Ukraine are forcing England to play to the England's right, and it's just stopping them really in those kind of positions.
Yeah, it's smart from Ukraine, who, as I say, they've been disciplined. They've been smart about how they've gone about this game, and they've done very well to kind of dig themselves in, even with England leading. And it's the Lionesses are like to kind of rolled on after getting the opening goal, but that just hasn't happened. And yeah, they're making England they're forcing England into decisions they don't really want to make, or at least hurting them a little bit.
Hemp in towards Alessia Russo now, tries to pass into a teammate's cut out. Hemp, Stanway to Blinkilda Brown, lays it to Walsh and now to Charles. Can she open up the shot? Plays it into Blinkilda Brown again and cleared away. And they're just trying to play at the moment England into a congested area, and they're not having any success in there.
Yeah, you're not going to get any joy through the centre of the pitch, or at least trying to play through it.
Because there's 10 people there.
Yeah, and it's the main reason why Ukraine done very well as well at limiting Alessia Russo, because that centre of the pitch is just packed out.
Lauren James shoved off really effectively there by Savka. But no room for the midfielder carry forward as James made the tackle out for a throw. Shannon says Godfrey can do both. She can go inside and outside, but she prefers inverting. But she doesn't have the positional discipline that required to hold the width so effectively. Or at least we haven't seen that evidence. Obviously, at London City, they play a very counter-attacking style, and so we don't really see them have those long possession phases. And she's got Jana Fernandez as well, who does come forward at times. But yeah, Godfrey can hold the width decently, but isn't. We haven't seen enough evidence of that. And seems to be, to me at least, more of a classic inside forward. where you'd want an attacking fullback. We need an attacking right back to come from somewhere. We need Ella Morris to have an incredible season at Tottenham where she doesn't get injured, which is a massive ask after 2 ACL injuries. Or Aria Dennis to suddenly become incredible. Personally, Niamh Charles is right-footed. I don't know why she's not playing at right back. That just feels like an obvious option, but she just hasn't played at right back before because she's been playing at left back for so long. Walsh into James. It does feel like Wiegman could just use that as an easier fix. Morgan back across to Carter. We've also got the weird situation tonight where Jess Carter's playing as the left centre-half being right-footed and Morgan's playing as the right centre-half being left-footed. And a foul there on the goalkeeper, but it does claim the ball, so it won't be an issue. It's a bit of an oddity, but I think it's because they want Morgan to be in the centre of the back three, and with Letitia tucking in, Morgan stays in that position. Which I guess is fine, but it just feels like a bit of a weird way around to do things.
Yeah.
And he has people pointing out Freya Godfrey isn't in the squad for these games, so won't make her England debut. Here's Lauren Hemp. Stanway. Trying to lift it into the box. It'll bounce through towards the back post. And Niamh Charles picking up on the loose ball. It does feel like that Freya Godfrey may end up making her international debut at the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's right. Because will she play the playoffs? I guess it depends who we have. And if we're really dominant in one game, she may start the second leg or something like that. But that's a big risk. You're probably going to play your strongest 11 in both those matches.
Yeah.
Well, she now tries to slip it through the lines. Great run from Alessia Russo. Cut it across the box. Looking for Hemp, and it's a lovely goal from England. The first time they've really been able to get Russo on the ball. It's a brilliant pass through and a well-timed run from Alessia Russo. Hemp up in support. Russo cutting it across the box. And England double their advantage. It's England 2, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, another really nice move from England. Just finding a bit of space and, as you say, getting Alessia Russo involved for what feels like the first time tonight. But yeah, Ukraine just fail to clear their lines, gift it back to England, really. And yeah, it's a brilliant ball through from Walsh into the run of Russo. Times it well, just puts it across the box. And Lauren Hemp does very well to get goal side, to get the wrong side of a defender and poke it home. And, well, we said it could be one of those evenings where England score a lovely catalogue of the poked home and a bit of scrappy goals. And so far we've seen two of those finishes come to life. But, yeah, it's poked home really nicely. And, yeah, full credit, though, to Walsh again, who threads the ball through brilliantly, and Russo does enough to get it across the box.
Yeah, lovely. Quick correction, of course, Georgia Stanway there with the goal. Her and Hemp swap positions, which was difficult to see. Looked like classic winger movement, to be fair, from Georgia Stanway at the back post. Broke away from her defender well and tucked it home. England doubling their advantage. Yeah, lovely play. And you mentioned there, Kira Walsh's pass, I think, was the pinnacle with the timing of the run as well from Russo to get into that position. Beautiful play. England coming forwards again. Here's Stanway. Now Hemp lifting it into the area. Russo charging it down. A comfortable claim, though, in the end for Boklach.
Oh, Russo will be frustrated she couldn't get there. That ball from Hemp is a bit of a striker's dream, that. Bouncing up at the front post is already difficult for the goalkeeper. If you can just get a glance on it, you're going to find the back of the net. And, yeah, Russo will be disappointed that she couldn't get a touch on it.
Yeah. Shadow saying Kira Walsh is so good, oh my goodness. Yeah, I still find it funny when people act like Kira Walsh isn't all that and was only looked good at Barcelona because of Puteas and Bonmati, which I just find hilarious, and Gayara, of course. I find hilarious because why would Barcelona have kept her? If that was the only reason that she looked any good, they would have found someone else. And yeah, I think it's a simple case where she hasn't been the best fit at Chelsea yet. I think that Chelsea will have to sign a midfielder most likely now, and I think they will hopefully look for someone who's a bit more complimentary to play alongside Walsh. But seeing there, range of passing is incredible, her vision incredible. You've got to utilise that more. Hemp lifted into the area, and Charles trying to find a teammate and does find Kira Walsh. Morgan into Walsh. Charles knocks it back into Esme Morgan. Charles. And now James. Stanway. Walsh. James will be forced backwards. Lovely stuff from Lauren James. Just so graceful on the ball as she glides back and now glides forwards and knocks it to the right-hand side with Hemp. Hemp trying to come inside. Gives it into Carter. Carter now on to Morgan. Wide to Neve Charles. He bursts down the left-hand side. It's a great tackle in there to recover from Southcombe. It will be another England corner. Charles in a bit of discomfort, though. It's a fairly strong tackle from Ukraine's right back.
Yeah, I think just got caught on the follow-through there, Neve Charles. Should be okay. Hopefully he will be okay. But again, good to see her trying to get down that left-hand side, trying to be aggressive. And yeah, a really a great challenge, to be fair, from the defender, but just caught Charles on the way through.
Yeah. 2-0 Spain as well in that game. Henry Made getting that goal.
Dream over.
Well, dream was over anyway, really, wasn't it?
When they had 91% of the ball. I think that was when it really ended.
You never know. Jon Stotter might break away. Get a goal. Lauren Hemp lifting into the area. Boglatch getting it away. Blinkhilder trying to keep the move alive. And here's Lauren James. Tries to lift it into the box. It's blocked there with the hand. James protested for it and will get the free kick. In a really good position this for England.
Yeah. A bit of an unfortunate one for Boy Chuck. Just catches her. To be fair, yeah, I mean, she does move her arm towards it. I think it's a bit of more of a natural reaction, but yeah, pretty easy one to give. Just blocking the ball in from James. And another free kick in a decent position here for England. Haven't really been too effective from free kicks. Used corners quite well, but there's been a couple of free kicks that haven't really caused too many problems now. But James and Hemp will be, especially James, on the right foot, will be looking and very much fancying herself from this range.
Yeah, indeed. Can James find the target? Does lift it towards goal, Lauren James, and just over the bar there. Almost a beautiful goal from Lauren James. Just couldn't quite get enough dip on that.
Yeah, not a bad effort. I think that she'll be annoyed with herself. And saying the wall didn't jump, I think she'll be definitely frustrated she didn't hit the target. And I think for a player, I don't want to be too critical. If it takes any effort for a player of her quality, I expected something a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, that's incredibly harsh. No, I think with the proximity there, she was trying to get it up and over the wall. Didn't expect the wall not to jump.
I don't know why it didn't jump. I'm never seen a wall not jump.
Here is Morgan. Now back to Hannah Hampton. And of course, as things stand, England still well off the pace. It doesn't really matter how many goals they score in this game at all. They could score 100, it won't make a difference. They need Spain to slip up, of course, with the head-to-head brought in this season. Back now with Carter. It does feel like a fair way of doing things, though, doesn't it, the head-to-head? In terms of separating those top two teams.
Yeah.
Rather than the competition coming down to who can score more goals against Ukraine, it comes down to who scored more goals in the head-to-heads, which I think is a more fair way of judging things.
Yeah.
Lauren James into Russo. Lovely turn. Slipping it through the lines now into Hemp, who will take aim. Lauren Hemp and over the bar. Unable to get that shot away. No, unable to get the shot on target, sorry.
Yeah. Again, we'd like to do better. Wanted to combine with Blinkhilder here, but the Man City midfielder just drifted into an offside position, so Hemp forced to go alone and just wraps her foot round it, but just too much lift and then over the bar.
Yeah, Kevin updating us. France leading by a goal to nil. Melvin Mallard with that goal. So as it stands, France would be going through automatically, joining Denmark, Germany, and what is likely to be Spain.
Disappointing for Ireland, who were brilliant against the Netherlands, but now have a bit of a mountain to climb against the quality of France.
Letitia trying to find the pass through there into Alessia Roos. An ambitious pass, and runs through and out for a Ukraine goal kick. Elizabeth, a year early, saying it's coming home.
Oh,
hopefully it's coming home next year. Hopefully it's coming home for the men's in a month and a half.
They'll find a way to mess it up.
I do feel like it's the exact run that England men would win, though. And then Trump is right at the centre of it, so it's ruined forever. Ukraine trying to come forwards now. Chuck muscled off well by Jess Carter, and Eve Charles come away with possession and plays it into Lauren James. James carrying forwards. Rousseau just lingering offside there, and James holds on to the ball. Just trying to create space now for the cross. Lauren James, she gets around the defender but can't quite get her feet together, and the cross is woeful.
Yeah, should have played it a lot earlier into Rousseau. Who, I don't think James just didn't realise that. I don't think James thought that she was onside at any point, but you had that back. Yeah, that should have gone through a lot earlier, and then I'm not really sure what happened. I just tried to put the ball across, just got in a complete muddle and smashed it straight off the pitch.
Heavy touch just seemed to take it away from her, and she swung for it. It had already got away from her. Ukraine then building out from the back. We've got a minute of additional time in this first half, befitting for what has been a fairly uneventful first 45 minutes.
Yeah, not too much happened. England, not running around the stadium celebrating, understandably. No injuries, no real big stoppages in there. A pretty self-explanatory first 45 minutes.
Lovely throw from Charles, straight into Alessia Rousseau. He's breaking towards the penalty area, cuts back looking for a teammate, and finds Georgia Stanway, who can't quite hold on to the ball. It's cleared away by Ukraine. That will likely be the last action of any significance in this first half. England trying to come forwards is Letitia. Carter now into Charles. Charles will look forwards. Rousseau, nice hold up. Back to James. Lovely pass around the corner, trying to find Georgia Stanway. One back, though, by the Ukraine defender and smashed away. And that is half-time in this game. England 2, Ukraine 0 at the break. Jess Carter's early goal coming off the side of her face. And then Georgia Stanway adding another after a lovely move from England down the left-hand side. Stanway making that run towards the back post and tucking it home. 4-2. It's England 2, Ukraine 0 then at half-time in this game.
Yeah, good half from England. Exactly what was needed to respond to the poor performance at the weekend. Did very well. Were in control from start to finish. Had no problems. Dominated the ball. Moved it nicely. Picked up 2 well-worked goals and are in a very nice position going into the break. I think that Ukraine as well will be pretty happy with their efforts. Of course, they weren't expecting to turn up and have any of the ball. We knew they were going to sit deep and look to absorb a lot of pressure. And to be honest, I think they did quite well, especially conceding relatively early. They dug in and made things difficult for England. They didn't collapse. They didn't just fall away. They kept themselves in the game, and that goal later on in the half giving England a nice buffer. But I don't think Ukraine will be too disappointed with how they've played. I think they've limited England quite nicely. But yeah, for the Lionesses, a strong showing and exactly what we wanted to see going into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been dominant. We haven't quite seen the goals be flowing, but equally with Ukraine packing out the box the way they have, it's difficult to find space. And then the fact that England have opened them up twice and found a route to goal, I think is something to be, I think it's something to be happy about. I think they've played well, England. I don't think you could ask too much more from that first 45 minutes. Again, we're at the end of the season. It doesn't feel like either side is playing 100%. Ukraine are digging in, trying to play as defensively as possible, trying to limit England coming forwards. I think a lot of England's issues have sort of been their own doing. Ukraine are letting England play to the right-hand side and isolating Hemp in that position because she's just not having the same impact on a game that she normally would have on that right-hand side as she would if she was playing on the left. And so Ukraine seems to be happy just to let her have the ball, and we're not really then finding anything from those moments.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that England would have liked to have done more, and I think that would have liked to kick on and take an advantage when they have managed to find those routes through, and that comes. I think that it's one of those where, again, if it's a rotated side, you kind of go, yeah, fair enough. We are going to see a few moments come and go. We are going to see a couple of opportunities where they open up the team and don't quite take advantage. But I think they would have liked to have done a bit more and kicked on. With the players that are out on the pitch, but yeah, it's 2-0's not bad, so you can never complain being 2-0 up in a game. But yeah, I think that there definitely have been those patches where Ukraine have frayed, where Ukraine have struggled to remain disciplined and remain solid, and England didn't quite take full advantage of those moments where they were in complete control. And maybe that but they have forced a couple of good saves out the goalkeeper, and maybe it could be a bit of a different game, but. yeah, I think that England would have liked to have capitalised a little bit more on the moments that have come.
Yeah, 81% of the ball, 14 shots to 2, 5 on target though to 1. I think with 5 shots on target, if you wanted to actually get, I mean, 1, there should be more shots. So when you're taking 14 shots, more than 5 should be on target for a team like England. But I think it says a lot about the areas from which they're shooting from. Ukraine are forcing England to shoot from some difficult angles because of the way they're defending. And I mean, we saw that Lauren James one hit the post. The fact that counts as a shot on target kind of shows that the limitations of looking at stats without context, because that really could have been a goal, and the goalkeeper were a little bit lucky, completely misjudging it. But England had their chances. Again, it's that kind of half where this could comfortably be 4 or 5. And then we're talking about it in a very different light. It's equally the kind of half where we could see very similar frustration for England, where they've got a lot of the ball and just not create the chances. They got the goals. You think as this game goes on, as the Ukraine start to tire and their defence becomes less disciplined, the space can open up a bit more. With England bringing on substitutions and having more options off the bench to change this game than Ukraine have, you do feel this game will continue to go in England's favour, and they're already in a quite comfortable position.
Yeah, I think that we've got the proof from the reverse fixture. England really ran riot in that second half. I mean, did they get, was it 4 or 5 out of the 6 in that second half? And
it was all of them.
It was
half time.
Well, yeah, so yeah, England really ran riot in that second half. And as you say, the squad depth, the quality, and the fact that Ukraine will start to tire, it is very difficult to play that defensive and be as regimented for 90 minutes. There will be slip-ups in there, and England will get opportunities to score more. There has to be changes at the break. There is no reason for Lauren James and Alessia Russo and Lauren Hemp to walk out for the second half. There's no reason whatsoever. They are not needed one bit. Give other players opportunities. Just rotate through the minutes. But yeah, England should maintain that very high-class level for the next 45 minutes. Ukraine will also start to fall away, and that should all come together for England to find quite a few more goals as the game continues. And suddenly we're looking at getting to a very similar margin as that 6-1 victory earlier in qualification. And although it might not mean anything because Spain are already winning, but it would be nice for England to come away with a big win to end the international break and kind of end the season, really. It's a bit of a weird point, but it is kind of the last game for all these England players.
Well, H pointing out, just right, this is our last stream of the season. It feels a bit weird because it is the first summer. For anyone that doesn't know, we covered men's football before we moved to only do the women's football. We had a period where we did both as well. So it is the first summer we have not covered a major tournament since 2019.
Crazy.
It feels, and so we've never had more than like a few weeks without a live game since then, and so it feels like the end of a very long season for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do myself. I'm going to, have withdrawals.
We're going to be on stream talk about anything.
I'm going to get the camera out and just go live for no reason, just to be live, but. Yeah, it has been. I mean, it feels like the season went by so quickly, yet so much happened. And yeah, it's. I feel like this is quite a nice game to end on, with the fact that England should have had it comfortably tonight and should go on to score a few more. That's how you always want to end a campaign, with a big victory and a bit of fun and just an enjoyable one to watch. But yeah, it has been a crazy year. We've seen some stunning games of football. And England hopefully hoping to end on a high.
Also, it won't be long till it's all back up again. August we'll have pre-season friendlies.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will convince us to do an NWSL game at some point in summer as well. But yeah, we'll obviously have transfer shows and all that. So the streams, there won't be any games, of course, to cover, but the streams aren't going anywhere. We will still be talking about all the transfers, and obviously without a World Cup this year, or Euros, we are getting a lot more transfer business happen early. So there'll be lots of content coming out. Still throughout June, July, and then of course August building in to the 26-27 season. But yeah, England in this game, it does feel like we're seeing the same sort of situation as we expect from England, dominating this match. Never really looked like conceding, apart from when it's come from their own downfall, with a bit of sloppiness at the back, which I think was the same issues, similar issues against Spain with sloppiness. It's just that Spain pressed a lot more aggressively and were able to force those issues more often.
Yeah, exactly that. Sloppiness, I think that is in big games you don't expect to see it, and that's and then when it does happen, you get massively punished. So it's doubly bad in the big games. But in games like this, you expect to see a couple of misplaced passes because players get comfortable. So a little bit of complacency creeps in when you are having 85-90% of the ball. You do expect players to be pretty confident in possession, and it was just a little bit too relaxed for England in a couple of moments, and they allowed Ukraine to turn it over. But as you say, it's harmless, and Ukraine really didn't threaten from those opportunities. And yeah, you expect to see sloppiness in these kind of games where it is so comfortable, and it shouldn't at any point lead to England conceding or slipping up. Although they did, that did happen earlier in qualifying. I wouldn't expect any problems to occur today.
No, not against a side that's only scored one other goal apart from that one against England. So, yeah, should be comfortable in the second half. Haven't got forwards much tonight. So, shouldn't really be too many issues for England. But we'll see how it goes in the second half. You mentioned changes. Who would you be looking at really then on the bench tonight for England? We'll run through the options.
I need to know the benches for that.
Completely forgotten, have you? We've got Alex Greenwood, Grace Fisk, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Lucy Bronze, Ella Toone, Kendall, Beever-Jones, Mead, Kelly and Park.
Oh, that is a lovely selection of players. I'd go Chloe Kelly just for a bit of just to keep the aerial threat there and just keep putting crosses into the box, keep putting putting Ukraine under pressure. I'd probably look at taking out one of the pivot as well. I think that you could take out Walsh or Stanway for someone like a Kendall, and the quality wouldn't really drop, and it would give them opportunity to rest. And again, I guess you're probably looking at another attacking change. Maybe I mean, personally, I would make 3 changes and probably do one in each department. Maybe like a Fisk or a Wubben-Moy for someone like Ismay Morgan. Wiegman is not going to do that. There's no way Wiegman makes 3 changes at the break. I'd be very surprised if she made 1. There should be changes at half time.
It's going to be Lucy Bronze.
Yeah, it'll be Lucy Bronze and Alex Greenwood coming back on.
Toone.
And Toone, who will give him a rest. And they'll come on for players that came in today. Carter and Charles who come on, I was like. But yeah, I think there should be quite a few changes. England should really utilise the sub bench and give a lot of players a rest. But whether that does materialise, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I would personally make 3 changes. Wiegman, I think maximum will make 1, maybe 2, but I'm really not getting my hopes up.
No, I don't think we'll see any change at half time. To be honest, I think we'll start to see them come in the second half. I'm just hoping we see the likes of. I'd like to see someone other than Stanway and Walsh as a pivot.
Yes,
I'd like to see some different options given a chance. I'd say wholesale midfield changes. Or at least, keep Laura Brinker-Brown, play her a little bit deeper, because I don't think she works in that 10 role as well. I think as we've seen at City, she's much better as a 6 or as an 8 or as a 6. So I think we could see her play either of those positions. I'd like to see Kendall get on there. Would like to see Jess Park get on there in some capacity. Yeah, outside of that, whatever changes really. Grace Fisk would be nice to see as well. Would Beever-Jones up front. So they've got options on there for players who haven't played loads for England. It'd be nice to see them given opportunities. People saying could play Kelly at left back in this game, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely get away with that. That's the other problem for England. It's like a lot of other national teams. England got a fullback issue, and we've got a video coming out about that tomorrow. But a lot of other teams have solved that issue by playing someone out of position. But even then, it doesn't feel like England have anyone. Like Lauren Hemp playing left back doesn't really solve anything, and she's got the work rate to play that kind of position, but then you don't get the same attacking upside. We don't really have a midfielder who can just drop in the fullback and do a job, so it's quite difficult for England to solve that issue. But we'll see how they do that in a year's time, I guess, going into the next World Cup. Cheryl says, "Well, I've not long found you. Is it the last one already?" We're not going anywhere. We're back next season. We don't plan on going anywhere, at least back for the WSL next campaign. It is only 3 months away. Less than 3 months away now.
Exactly that. It's one of those things where suddenly it's
80 odd days.
Exactly. There'll be transfer videos, there'll be transfer streams, and before you know it, bang, we're back with the season, and we're getting excited for what should be another incredible season of the Women's Super League. But yeah, it is one of those weird things with football, especially with more and more games coming into the calendar, that you finish, you go, oh wow, it's over, and then you wake up the next day, oh bang, it's back, and by the time you had a month of transfers, a month of pre-season predictions that will inevitably be terrible, and things like that, and then suddenly you're back into the season. And then we come back in a year's time and World Cup's here, and that is very exciting. To think that we're only a year or a little bit more than a year away from the World Cup in Brazil is incredible.
Can't wait for that.
England have just got to make sure they're there. Can't do anything about it tonight, but just get through the playoffs at the end of this year, and they shouldn't have any problems. Just trying to see who's looking. I think everyone's out to warm up for England, and it doesn't look like anyone is necessarily stripped and ready to come on. Everyone looks pretty. Looks like I doubt we'll see any changes for England based on that, but maybe we will. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, updates then across the games before we get into the second half. As it stands, Spain very much comfortably through 3-0 up against Iceland in that game. Paolo adding one just for the stroke of half time, meaning now we would need Iceland to score 3 goals in the second half, which does feel rather unlikely. And then in Group 2, we've got France leading Ireland by 1-0, and Netherlands leading Poland by 1-0. As it stands, France would go through top of the group, Netherlands second, and Ireland third. Not the second, third make too much of a difference. And they'll all be playing sides from League B anyway.
So I'm just counting how many players got for England. They are missing 1
and 2. There's 2 players, I think, there looking ready to come on, and it's Alex Greenwood and Beth Mead. Those 2 players I think I've never seen play for England. Not sure Alex Greenwood and Beth Mead will be up there.
Yeah, I mean, with the bench, you've kind of got too many options. I don't mind Beth Mead. Yeah, I'm not too fussed about that one. I think that Greenwood coming on is a bit of a...
As long as it's for James, it's probably good for Hemp, you'd imagine?
Yeah, the Mead one, probably. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who does come off. Greenwood one as well. Is Charles coming off then? I think that'd be a bit of a weird one. I don't think she's...
Charles to right back and... I don't know. We'll find... Charles is on the pitch, so... Evidently not. Hemp is out there, so I think it will be Lauren James given a rest. Hope they're not taking Laetitia off. That would feel a bit
No, she's definitely
redundant.
there. I didn't see
so
Charles.
Laetitia centre back. Esme Morgan makes way for Alex Greenwood, so it will be Laetitia going to centre back then, which we've barely seen for England. And then Lauren James making way. And we're back on the way for the second half here at the Hill Dickinson. So thank God for that. Lauren James will be given a rest for the first time ever by Serena Wiegman and can begin a summer where she's not going to pick up any injuries and she'll be fit and firing to start next year for Chelsea. And so just to confirm, I mean, Lauren Hemp has stayed on the right-hand side and Laetitia is still at right. So Greenwood's gone in at centre-half and Mead's gone on the left wing. I didn't think there'd be like position change when I saw those 2 players coming on.
No, but we got a double change and it was a good one. So let's be happy with what we got.
Yeah, fair enough. I just think you could put him back on the left-hand side, put me to the right-hand side, get Laetitia to play as a centre-back, try Charles at right-back. But, alas. Ukraine building up from the back. Changes for Ukraine as well. It was Ina Hlushenko, I believe, who plays for Losk Lille in France. I didn't quite see the second change. I think there was a couple changes for Ukraine. But I'm sure they'll pop up. Greenwood's back to Hannah Hampton. I don't think ITV have even recognised that Ukraine made changes. I don't remember seeing any graphics.
I think they happened before the England ones. Ukraine went first.
Hemp inside now to Blinker Brown. Being held back there, and it will be a free kick for England. Laetitia. Wide now into Georgia Stanway. Plays inside to Blinker Brown. Force it through the lines and cleared away well. Good sweeping there from Bocklach, who's done pretty well considering the number of shots she's faced in this game. Neither of the goals she could have done too much about. Not clangers from the goalkeeper by any stretch. And Ukraine coming forward. Hlushenko trying to find a teammate. Cleared away back to Ina Hlushenko. They feel back at the moment, being won by Ukraine momentarily as Zaborovets knocks it into Savka. Ukraine stay in possession. Olkova passing through the lines and out to the left-hand side, looking for the wide run now of Boychuk, who is deemed to have drifted there into an offside position.
Well, I'm not sure about that one. But maybe it was.
Hemp. Letitia and Carter across to Alex Greenwood. Here's Beth Mead. Knocks it back to Kira Walsh. And now Letitia. Wide into Lauren Hemp. Stanway. Letitia. Mead. Slipping it through the lines. Russo's going to try and get there. Cleared away well, though, by Olkover under pressure. Or Schmatko under pressure. And out for an England throw again. Letitia. Blinker to Brown. Round the corner into Stanway. England probing. Can they find a way through? Russo turning, trying to get the shot away. Lovely footwork from Russo. Cuts it back, and Georgia Stanway lashing the shot. But it is blocked well. Fouling into the box then. It will be a free kick as Welsh is brought down.
Yeah, brilliant work from Russo. Lovely feet in the tight space, and does well to work it to Georgia Stanway, who got charged down. But yeah, Welsh then just it was a bit of an aggressive push on her, and wins England a free kick. But yeah, so it's just class from Russo in that area to find a way to work it into Stanway. But Greenwood here then with a first contribution and a chance to put Ukraine under more pressure.
Alex Greenwood then. Quite a distance this from Greenwood. Will she look to go for goal then? She will. It fires straight into the wall. Mead back to Greenwood. Goes back to Carter. Probably could have done more with that, England. It was quite straight when we were difficult to make into a set piece, but the shot bearing no through. Here is Mead. Switch to the play, finding Alex Greenwood. Greenwood will carry forwards, trying to slide through the lines. It's poked away from Lauren Hemp by Zaborovets.
Yeah, no, a good interception. Just put out for a corner, but England have done well to utilise these corners. I have to say, a Carter-Greenwood centre-back partnership is probably one of those unexpected for England.
Yeah, it feels almost like rolling back the years.
Would have never expected to see this at any point across this season.
It also feels a bit of a waste, but that we're not seeing Letitia still play as a centre-back. Speaking of Letitia, good ball into the box beneath Charles, heading wide.
Yeah, it's not a bad header from Charles. Makes the bursting run towards the ball at the front post. Whipped in well by Letitia, and it's good technique from Charles. Just couldn't quite find the far corner.
Indeed, and well, if it wasn't already done at Iceland versus Spain, it definitely is now. 4-0 Spain in that game. Vicky Lopez scoring again. Spain, a commanding victory as they will seal qualification to the Women's World Cup next year.
Yeah, Iceland will be disappointed there. They gave England a great game in their home ground, but not being able to do the same for Spain.
This could be quite amusing because Iceland have won 2 matches, both against Ukraine. And yet I still think that they could well end up going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
You'd back them over most sides in the group below, and then it all just depends on how the playoffs work out. UEFA haven't actually announced too much about how the playoffs work. From what I was reading on the Wikipedia, it's just that the playoffs will be announced at a later date.
Brilliant.
They have a table which is basically put the performance relative to all the other teams, which is how they're going to seed it, but they haven't announced much more than that. Great pressure there from England, trying to force a mistake out of the Ukraine goalkeeper, who stood firm. England in possession now, though. Here's Letitia. And now Georgia Stanway trying to find Mead in the pocket. It was a misplaced pass. Now they'll break away. Savka under a load of pressure, playing down the right-hand side, and here come Ukraine. England stepping off, now into Boychuk. Back inside, and a shot towards goal. It's blocked by Alex Greenwood. Here's Lashenko. Does well to hold on to the ball here, but the shot well wide of the mark. Working hard in Lashenko to try and find space, but couldn't quite get the shot on target.
Yeah, a bit brighter from Ukraine in the second half, potentially looking to be a bit more positive, and the substitute has come on and done well. couldn't quite get the shot wrapped around. Couldn't quite wrap her foot around. Couldn't quite wrap her foot around the ball with the shot. But yeah, as I say, positive from Ukraine.
Carter lifted into Georgia Stanway, brought down. It will be an England free kick.
You wouldn't expect England's next set of changes to be too far away.
No, you wouldn't. Away with saying, like to see Blinkert-Brown develop as a future Walsh, more like her role at City. I think I'd like to see her in that almost water carrier role, the kind of role that Georgia Stanway plays, and you still see her in attacking areas, but has that defensive responsibility, is more involved in the build-up. I think she works much better in that role than as the 10. And I think you've got that long-term Welsh successor in Lexi Potter. And I think a Potter-Blinkert-Brown midfield pair could absolutely be the future. I think Kendall is going to be in that conversation as well. And obviously there'll be other players coming through the ranks. And I don't think Serena Wiegman will ever change her pivot. So it'll only be if there's ever a successor to Serena Wiegman.
40-year-old.
I can't wait for the 2050s. And we're still watching Kira Welsh, George Stanway and Lucy Bronze playing for England. Letitia back now to Carter. Greenwood just about gets there. Squeeze the pass into Mead. Now Carter. Mead. Here's Walsh trying to lift it forwards. Stanway. Back now to Carter. Here is Letitia, poked inside to Hemp. Letitia. Stanway. Hemp. Now to Blinkert-Brown. Holding onto the ball well. Georgia Stanway opening up space for the shot. Cleared away, though, by Ukraine. I think the other interesting thing is, obviously, we speak a bit about players coming through at England, a bit of that changing of the guard, but there's actually now not too many players that you'd think are at retirement age.
Yeah.
Like in the next few years, Lucy Bronze you would expect, but equally she's 34 and still going strong. Will she ever retire? Not sure. You'd say Alex Greenwood is probably not far off at 32 now, and we have seen signs of her slowing down. I think Beth Mead is one who I think would rather retire for the England squad than be naturally displaced, which I think could happen before the World Cup. If not, will definitely happen after the 2027 Women's World Cup. So, but outside of that, there's not too many players that are into their 30s, and you'd be thinking, well, they're probably not going to be at Euro 2029. So it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that changing of the guard, and whether we see a bit of the squad broken up. And yeah, that's going to be an interesting dynamic to manage. Russo, great hold up into Lauren Hemp. Now Stanway will fall to Walsh. Ukraine trying to break away. Walsh out to the right-hand side. Lovely footwork from Hemp, trying to create space for the cross, and it's just feels so awkward on her right foot there for Lauren Hemp. And the cross going over the bar, just never looked comfortable hitting this, and the execution wasn't great either.
Yeah, again, did well initially, but got the technique all wrong, and just ends up chipping it, really. Yeah, catches it the outside of the foot, and ends up just chipping it well over the bar. Not quite what she was looking to do with that ball in. But again, the initial play is nice, just that final delivery lacking, and that has been lacking in this second half for England, just that final ball. Again, a lot of the possession, a lot of the play, but not making it count in the final third.
And well, don't go to bed just yet, because Iceland may well be mounting a comeback. They've got a goal in that game. Iceland 1, Spain 4.
Here we go. It's on, ladies and gentlemen.
Only 3 more, and England are going to the World Cup. Greenwood into Walsh. Now to Letitia.
Gonna go get my Iceland shirt out.
A brilliant gag if you bought one just for that. Walsh.
Ooh.
Ball into the box. I think it had gone anyway there for a goal kick. Although the defender made a bit of a mess of it.
If Iceland get another one, we start a dream. I highly doubt it, though. Spain will probably score another 4. But yeah, England haven't quite kicked on in the way that I would have hoped.
No, I don't think any of the changes really made them more aggressive
No.
or changed the way they were playing to create more opportunities. They're good changes because we're seeing rest for particularly Lauren James, so I think it's good now that she doesn't have to play 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And she's played a lot of football in the last few months, and obviously we know her injury history. Here's Niamh Charles. But yeah, I don't think either player has come on. I don't think changing a centre-back and bringing on Beth Mead is going to naturally make your side more aggressive. I think taking off Lauren James, England don't have their creator.
Yeah.
There's not someone just creating constantly. There's not someone to target with every pass. Ball down the line now for Hemp, holding the width well. Wants to cut inside onto her left, lays it into Stanway. Stanway back down the line towards Hemp. Hemp looking for the cutback. Heavy touch though. It's just cleared away. It's just not working. Lauren Hemp on the right wing just isn't working.
No. Again, you could just gets it wrong with that initial touch. Great ball through down the line from Jess Carter. Hemp to sort of get there, and it's a nice give and go between her and Stanway. But the final ball just lacking again.
It's that touch there with the outside of the left foot that just makes it so difficult for her.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a necessary touch either. Could have just made that first time ball across the box.
Yeah.
But just doesn't look comfortable at all on the right foot. Calling out for England, Letitia. A lot to whip this in again herself. Not a great delivery, trying to find Charles there, the on-rushing runner. Carter, now Mead. Greenwood. Changing with Carter and now Mead again. Dropping in momentarily at right back. Stanway. Mead. And dispossessed there. It's out for an England throw. Letitia takes quickly into Mead, who bounces it back to Letitia. ITV giving us the latest score as though Iceland are on the verge of a comeback there. Rousseau, lovely turn there to get away. Can she open up the shot now? Alessia Rousseau saved well and then smashed clear by Ukraine.
Again, it's really good centre forward play from Alessia Rousseau, but the shot is just a bit too central. She would have liked to have made the goal kick work a bit more than just to palm it away from a standing position. But the turn, the touch, everything was perfect. Just couldn't quite get the final ball.
Okay, some sort of stoppage here then to the game. Was it 2 balls on the pitch? I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think they call them ball assistants now, don't they?
Yes.
Fetching that. Double change coming for England then, and it's Chloe Kelly and Jess Park. And I'm sure that will be a popular double change around the Hill Dickinson.
I quite like that. I think that's a good change. I think that's a good double change.
I think I remember correctly, 2 players who played for Everton, right?
Yes. Yep.
Both had loan moves. I was just thinking whether I'm getting Jess Park mixed up with Beaver Jones. I think all 3 of them have had loan moves at Everton. Pass forwards then into Beth Mead, across to Laura Blinkilder-Brown. Spreading wide into Charles. Now Hemp. Blinkilder-Brown. Hemp. Here's Alex Greenwood. Letitia. Mead. Dancing inside. Stanway. Now Beth Mead.
Big question now is going to be who's coming off.
Presumably Hemp and I guess one of the midfielders.
I say I hope it isn't Blinkilder. I hope we see Blinkilder get dropped deeper and Walsh or Stanway comes off.
Yeah, it would be a shame if Blinkilder-Brown came off after an hour.
Yeah.
And we got to see more of Georgia Stanway and Kira Walsh. Maybe we'll see Hemp up front again because that worked really well.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That little experiment at 3-0 down.
Greenwood into Charles. Lovely pass round the corner. And Hemp now on that left foot. Crossing the boxes, blocked away. And it'll fall now to Letitia. Onto the right-hand side with Beth Mead. Mead pokes it inside well. Stanway Tries the cut back. It's cut out and out for an England throw. A corner, sorry. I've completely got that one wrong.
Yeah, again, nice move from England. Big block those to deny the cutback from Stanway and another corner. England will be hoping to convert. So a couple of good deliveries across the two halves. And if Letitia can pick someone out again from this one, decides to go short though.
Into Mead. Mead lays it into Carter. Mead. This doesn't feel like it's working, will it? Back to Carter. And now Greenwood. And I have to say, I think that might be that routine over.
That,
And
brilliant.
it's back with Hannah Hansen.
Just brilliant.
That's one of those. It's like, old man shouts at clouds, just stick it in the box.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Routine there, just not working.
Just whip it in and let someone head it home. 5 passes go from the corner to back to Hampton.
Corner on there from Leif Charles. Unable to find a teammate. Does catch Boychuk as well. So it will be a double change now for England. It's going to be... Let's work this one out. Leif Charles for Chloe Kelly. Is Chloe Kelly going on to play left back?
Maybe.
As Phil said, I think that is what's happening there. I don't really see how else this is going to work.
I think it... And Stanway.
Stanway making way as well. Happy with both those changes, to be fair.
Yeah, don't mind that at all. I think Lauren Hemp staying on's an interesting one, but I'm very intrigued to see where everyone's going to go here, but let's have a look. So Kelly is... Yeah, I think Kelly is at left back.
Phil said it. Chloe Kelly's doing left back shifts next World Cup.
Yeah. Oh, no, hang on, no, she's right.
She's on the right wing.
Lauren Hemp's at left
Dream
back.
over. Yeah. Well, that would make more sense for me. As
Yeah.
She can hold the width really well. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see who we start on the right wing in that case. Chloe Kelly on there now. What can she make happen here? Kelly looks to the cross into the box. Blocked away.
That was magical from Jess Park. Just danced through 3 players, got taken out, but still managed to rework the ball to Kelly.
Park into Rousseau. Now Kelly breaking into the box. Chloe Kelly squares the ball, cleared away well. Hemp now at left back on hand to pick up the pieces. Immediately looks so much more dangerous.
Ooh.
Even at left back, she's pulled back. Free kick right on the edge of the box now for England.
Yeah, really tidy from everybody involved. Lovely football. Maybe that's that double change it, inject a bit of energy. Great burst of pace to beat her opponent from Hemp and a tug of the shirt. And I have to say, I think that's quite fortunate that's given us a free kick.
I was going to say it's quite fortunate that we haven't seen a card yet for Ukraine.
That is also true, but I
We've got
think
to be close to double digits now for fouls.
yeah, I think there's a very strong argument that holding continued into the penalty area, but free kick it will be, and it's one of those annoying ones where it's almost too close.
Yeah, similar to the one earlier in the game for Lauren James. She just couldn't get it up and down again.
Equally, if this feels like the exact location that Alex Greenwood scored from in the FA Cup final a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you have a bit more of the angle there, though. Here's going to be interesting to see what they actually try and do with it. I think they've got to open up a bit more space to actually shoot at. And it's going to be Beth Mead that takes. Beth Mead steps up, drills the goal, and it's a perfect execution. Beth Mead buries it in the bottom corner, and it's England 3, Ukraine 0. We thought it was too close to make it work. But finding really the only passage of space, the only route to goal there, Beth Mead, drilling it into the bottom corner. It's England 3, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, perfect strike that from Beth Mead. The perfect balance of power and placement, giving the wall and the goal absolutely no chance of stopping that. That's an incredible strike. Just catches it so nicely, finds the bottom corner but doesn't blast it. Equally puts enough on it to just take out any chance of anyone stopping it. That's a brilliant strike from Beth Mead in a lovely way for England to get their third.
Yeah, Alex Greenwood there just drifting out of way to create that space. She tried to take the defender with her. The defender didn't go. Could have jumped in front of that, it felt like, the Ukraine defender there. But yeah, just didn't quite get there. Kotiuk, I think it was. But yeah, England now with a more comfortable margin in this game. Beth Mead adding to the scoreline. Boychuk being taken off for Ukraine. Podolska onto the pitch. Just a single change there for Ukraine. And I guess the other big question mark is are we going to see Aguilar Jones in this game? Park now drifting inside. It's beautiful from Jess Park. Boychuk straight down the tunnel. Doesn't seem best pleased about something. Potentially about being subbed off in this game. Kelly. Now Letitia. Kelly. Could also be an injury for Boychuk as well, to be fair. Into Kira Walsh now. Jess Parker is such a good footballer. That's all I've been thinking since she's come onto the pitch. Just the way she carries it. There's just no way that you could play her and Lauren James in the same team, really. You'd have to give them both too much license to actually be able to do what they do best.
Yeah.
And you can't have that coexist. But in terms of a great substitution to bring on and not lose the creativity of Lauren James, I feel Jess Park is perfect for that.
Yeah. They're two players that glide on a football pitch. And when a player is so good that they just look like they glide around, you know they've got exceptional quality.
Another corner then for England. Can they add to the scoreline with 20 minutes left in this one? Here's Jess Carter. Wide now with Greenwood. Space for the cross. Decides to play to Mead, who will now lift it in towards the back post. And Chloe Kelly went down there. 100% short. I think she could have got to that one, but just seemed to run into the defender and go down instead. She just slipped there, or just slip. Yeah, I was confused as to how on earth she's ended up on the floor there.
Yeah, a couple of players lost their footing tonight. But like a weird enough, a large enough amount that it feels a little bit bizarre. Maybe a bit of a slippy surface. It has rained quite a lot today. Equally, you'd like to think that.
I think it's rained for both teams. This is a bit AFT.
No, both teams have slipped over.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just think on the weather. But yeah, I think both teams have just seemed to lose their footing quite a few times across the two halves.
Here's Hemp. Now to Beth Mead. Carter. Maya Letitia. Looking to carry inside. Here's Mead. Around the corner looking for Park. Who'll let it run to Kelly. And back now into Hampton. Dagona says there was a lot of criticism of Beth and Stanway. Apparently now they're the ones saving the game. Carter aside, she's very good. I think Georgia Stanway was pretty awful against Spain. And Beth Mead's had a pretty awful season. There's no doubting they're still good footballers, but neither of them had... Stanway had a decent season with Bayern, but was poor against Spain, and Mead has struggled this year. Both still can perform. I don't really say they're saving the game. England have been completely dominant. They're just the ones that happen to have touched home the goals.
Yeah.
Rousseau laying it to Mead, trying to find the pass into Kelly. Felt a bit forced, that one. Wasn't really the space. Here is Jess Park. There's three players around Jess Park, and it's forced backwards into Letitia, back to Park. Wide into Chloe Kelly. And now Letitia. Sees it from Carter, and now back down the line into Kelly. Trying to find Kira Walsh, and just too much on that from Chloe Kelly. Now, Hermie says, Chloe Kelly seems to have declined a little bit. The quality's still there, but she doesn't look as sharp or as influential as she was at her peak. I don't think she's declined. I just don't think she was ever as good as I think a lot of people thought. I think she's got some... She is a fantastic crosser of the football. One of the best crossers of the football in the women's game. And a good penalty taker. And those two things, she's been able to elevate or utilise and so effectively. And the teams she's played in have platformed those abilities so effectively. But I think outside of that, isn't an elite level footballer. Definitely not a fifth in the Ballon d'Or ranking level player, for example. Which is still, the mind boggles how that happened. But yeah, I just think she's regressing back to her level. I don't think her 1v1 attacking is incredible. I don't think she's great at beating players, but yeah, still a brilliant crosser, and will probably have a role to play in the England squad and at Arsenal next season because of that. But I don't think she's a good ball strike as well, I should say as well. decent finisher. But I don't think she's up there as one of the elite wingers, where I think there was that conversation, which was just not a fair reflection of her quality.
Yeah, she's a huge tool in knockout football, and we've seen that.
That's a horrible thing to say about her.
But yeah, she's massively influential in knockout football, and that is what has made her a massive part of this England side across the 2 Euros wins.
Which is a player that can come on and create chaos by putting balls in the box against tired defences. There is an advantage to be had there. Here is Jess Park. But there's a reason that City were happy to let her go for Ayoba Firmino, who was very raw at the time.
Mm.
They could have Brown across to Mead, and now Walsh. They just couldn't quite there add the finishing touch. England as they broke into the box. And now here is Lauren Hemp. Goes back to Greenwood. And Walsh caught there on the ball. That's one to hold on to it though. Back now with Greenwood. Tissier trying to force the ball. And again, cut out. Here's Lashenko. Good battle in there between Letitia and Kelly to win back possession. And now Letitia back to Carter.
Yeah, England just looking to see this through now. They're probably like another couple goals to top it off, but just happy to play it out.
Ball through the line, trying to find Kelly. It couldn't quite hold on to it. And it is, again, cleared away out for an England throw.
Yeah, just everything that's coming off the feet of Park is just class. Again, that ball through, it's a lovely ball. It's a great challenge to prevent Kelly from getting there. But it's just Park again.
Into Jess Park, who lifts it into the area, trying to find Russo, just didn't seem to be aware that ball was coming towards her. It's cleared away. I believe it was 5-1 Spain as well at some point. Someone mentioned that in the live chat, and it's indeed Claudia Pina getting in on the act there. Netherlands are 2-0 up now in their game. Romain Leukta adding to their lead. France still in a precarious position, only leading 1-0 against Ireland. If Ireland could score, it would see Netherlands go through automatically instead of France.
Would be quite something.
And France have just had a player sent off. Taniba Samora. We might switch over.
Yeah. Get Ireland on. That could get very tasty in the final 15 minutes.
Watch the last 15 minutes of that.
Extra player. Can they try and use that to their advantage?
Corner now for England with a quarter of an hour left of this game.
Very different feelings at the Hill Dickinson Stadium compared to that clash between France and Ireland.
They seem to have gone more defensive. Melvin Mallard has been taken off for Le Mogodet. And you think they would just try and shut that game down. Letitia floats it in towards the back post. I think Russo realised immediately that was going to have too much on it. Finds Blinker to Brown. And now back to Kira Walsh. Walsh knocks it wide into Rousseau. Rousseau not known for a crossing, and I think they're showing why.
Yeah, not where you want an FC Rousseau to be.
No. Ukraine now coming forwards. Clip long there. Looking for the run of Flashenko, who battles well and gets away from Maya Letitia. Flashenko plays it across the box and just couldn't quite find Podolska. And one back by Park, who will carry it away from the edge of the box. Here's Letitia. Now Kelly. Goes back to Hampton. And here's Greenwood. Hemp. Carrying it down the left-hand side. So much space for Lauren Hemp to work with. Trying to switch the play now, Hemp. And find Chloe Kelly, but too much on that from Lauren Hemp.
Ukraine will be happy, I think. Not happy because they're 3-0 down, but they will be encouraged by tonight's result. I think that compared to the way they collapsed in the 6-1 loss earlier in the qualifiers against England, this has been a much more disciplined and respectful performance. in that game, obviously, they did well for 45 minutes, but they absolutely they collapsed in the second half. Whereas I think today, obviously, they've conceded 3 less as it stands, but also that they've dug in well when they have conceded. They haven't fallen apart. They haven't just given up. They've hung in there and kept making things difficult for England for the duration of the game. And, they're only a couple minutes. There's been quite big gaps between each of the goals. There's not been a period where England have just ran riot. It's been obviously dominated by England, but Ukraine have done well just to break it up, and there were good 15, 20-minute spells between each of the goals.
Yeah. Back now with the Ukraine goalkeeper. As they are. I think both sides very much just seeing this game out now. They go to Brown, into Rousseau, trying to take the positive touch. One back in there, though. And, well, that was a bit messy there at the back. Chance now for Rousseau, who squares it across the box. That's all just a mental situation. Smatko seems to get stuck in the turf. Fell to Rousseau, tried to square the ball. Wasn't really another option. Supporting there for England. Here's Letitia. Lincoln to Brown. Lovely drive here. Through the middle, into Rousseau. Should score, Alessia Rousseau. And just rolling that shot. Again, just didn't seem to strike that cleanly, Alessia Rousseau. Really should have been a goal.
Yeah, standing foot, Costa. Just too close to the football, which meant she couldn't get... If she'd got the power that she needed to beat the goalkeeper, it had gone sailing away from the goal. So that just took a bit off it, didn't quite catch it cleanly, and a comfortable save in the end. But yeah, just standing foot there kind of cost her a little bit. And cost her a chance to get on the score sheet.
Indeed. Boglatch knocking it long. Held up well by Hlashenko. One back by Jess Carter, who's immediately under pressure there. Between Hlashenko and Radio Nova. Pass into the feet now of Hlashenko round the corner into Radio Nova. Wants to take on Carter into the box. Headed away now. And will play to the left-hand side. Here's Beth Mead. Carrying the ball forwards now for the Lionesses. Looking to switch the play. It's a lovely pass across to Kelly. What can Chloe Kelly do? Goes backwards. Blinker to Brown. Greenwoods. Mead back to Greenwood. Wide now to Hemp. Lays it into Mead. Greenwood. Switching the play into Maya Letitia. And now Rousseau. Great hold up from Alessia Rousseau. Finds Chloe Kelly out on the right-hand side. And now Jess Park. To Rousseau. Lays it off to Mead. Creates space for the shot. Couple dummy efforts. Doesn't actually take a shot in the end. Blinker to Brown into Mead. Trying to force that ball forwards. Just taking too long in there, England. Got to release the ball, because if you get a chance, I think you've got to take the shot. If you play out and try and play back in again, by that point Ukraine have blocked again in the centre, and you're just not going to find the space.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to see Aggie Beaver Jones tonight. Kira Walsh making way for Lucia Kendall, and I believe that is England's 5th substitution. So Kendall into midfield. Nice to see that England midfield, though, with Laura Blinker-Brown, Lucia Kendall, and Jess Park in it.
Yeah, don't mind that at all. I can't remember the last time we saw neither of Walsh, Stanway or Toon in England midfield 3 at any point in the game. So encouraging to see the options getting ran out, and a potential look into what a future England pivot could be. With Kendall and Blinkilder in there.
Changes for Ukraine as well. Simsik and Basanka coming in. I think both defensive players there for Ukraine. And as if Spain hadn't confirmed their place already. 6-1 now. Aitana Bonmati adding to that romp, really. Spain are enjoying.
Yeah, I mean that's one heck of a way to confirm your place in next year's World Cup as the holders, with a commanding victory.
Kendall, Kelly, Park. Back to Kendall, dispossessed. And here come Ukraine. Lashenko driving the ball through the middle of the pitch, but it's won back in there by Maya Letitia. Blinker to Brown. Kendall. Letitia across to Greenwood. A few comments around the age profile of this England squad. I think you've got it's a pretty decent age profile. You've got a lot of peak age players. A couple that are probably past their best now, but or over their peak. But you've also got some great players that are really promising. So yeah, I think it is the age profile of the squad is good. It's still an age profile where you go. They're probably in a position to continue winning now.
Yeah.
Maybe after this current generation, which will probably be about 2031. We don't know for sure, but there's still, I mean, there's so many quality young players coming through. You'd hope England are still going to be in a very competitive position. Park, Kendall. And now Greenwood. Mead. Here is Hemp. Lifted into the box and, well, lifting into the hands of Loback.
Yeah. Again, not a terrible ball in, but just in between two players and a comfortable claim for the Ukraine goalkeeper.
Barklach sending it forwards. Cuts out well by Greenwood now with Kendall. Here's Park. Blinker to Brown. Trying to find a forward pass.
Good night for Blinkilder. Nice to see her start, but also get 90 minutes. And I think definitely has had a brilliant season for Manchester City and can 100% be a key component of England's team and England's midfield, especially with the World Cup coming up next year.
A 3-0 Netherlands and then 3-1 Poland. Rise Bergen scored for Netherlands, making it 3-0. Poland immediately got a penalty at the other end, which Evelina Kamzik has converted. England playing down the left-hand side. Here's Lauren Hemp. And Park comes inside and releasing. Not a bad effort from range, but a comfortable claim for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Park's so bright since she came on. Just has been so every touch has been positive. Every touch has been making something happen and causing problems. And yeah, again, similar to Blinkilder, great to see Park on the pitch in an England shirt and causing all kinds of problems. I love that group, by the way. That Netherlands, France, Ireland one. 1 goal for Ireland. No goals for Ireland. France go through. 1 goal for Ireland. Netherlands go through. 2 goals for Ireland. Ireland go through.
Yeah, it's still all changed so much in the last few minutes.
Just incredible.
As it stands, France will be going through. Carter. Now to Rousseau poking it through. I think Mead had gone too early there. Will take aim. A good save. And well, the flag didn't go up. Latch denying it. And it would have counted had she scored. Looked like she'd gone too early there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was waiting for that flag to shoot up, but it never came. It's another steady save from the Ukraine goalkeeper, who I think's had a very strong evening. You know, yes, conceding 3 as a goalkeeper will always be disappointing, but she's made some strong saves and has done very well to keep out numerous England efforts. I mean, England have taken, 20-odd shots? Obviously, not all of them hit the target, but still a strong night for her.
Here's Beth Mead. Now across to Greenwood. Touch the play into Kelly. Kendall White out there.
Wow.
A late challenge. Just catching Lucia Kendall, and we finally see a yellow card brandished in this game. As it goes to Molodiuk.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's taken 87 minutes to get a yellow card. But yeah, that is a very late challenge on Kendall, and luckily she's okay. Yeah,
that's probably a red.
Really not a nice one.
Flying in there late.
So unnecessary as well at this point in the game.
Yeah.
And it could have been very costly. Yeah, thankfully, Kendall's all okay.
Beth Mead then, with this free kick. What can she make happen from this set piece? Well, punting it straight out of play. Not really, I think, what anyone had in mind there. Probably not Beth Mead either.
No, I don't think there was a single England player on the same wavelength for that set piece. All of them were expecting different things, and in the end, it ends up with a Ukraine goal kick.
Yeah. Ball lifted forward by Bochlach. Great pressure there from Blinker to Brown. Savka losing out, but it will be a throw-in for Ukraine. Thrown down the line. Mead heading it inside. And now Ukraine building out to the left. Lovely pass inside. Lashenko brushes off Jess Park, cuts inside. And can't quite find that final pass. I'm really impressed with Lashenko since coming on. I think just shown glimpses of real quality. The final ball decision making, it doesn't really look like it's there, but some really nice technical attributes. Probably just have the physicality to play in a league like the WSL, but definitely some promise there. Here's Carter. Now Letitia. Kelly. Back to Letitia. Kelly into Lucia Kendall. Now Maya Letitia as England looking for a fourth in this game. Not looking with much urgency though.
No, just looking to slow the game down, looking to see out a comfortable victory. I think a lot of players will be happy just to see this game, get this game under the belt, and hit the holidays. Very short holiday, but still,
well, it's not too bad. 2 months, you don't get that too often in football. True. I think they'll take that.
Yeah,
before coming back in July. Well, to be fair, it's not late July, early August. 2 months of additional time then at the end of this game. It's only a month and a half or a month, but yeah, still some time away. Kelly poking it inside. Here's Lucia Kendall. One back well, but it is out for an England corner. Can they add another goal at the end of this game?
Fourth would be nice just to cap it off. Cap off a strong night. Although these Letitia corners haven't been too strong.
Mead into Kendall. He'll open up for the shot. It's blocked. Now Jess Park firing into bodies. It's blocked. And Chloe Kelly firing wide.
I think Park's shot here was blocked by the arm of her own teammate. Hopefully we get a replay. But yeah, I think that Park effort looked to be heading towards the bottom corner and was actually blocked by the arm of an England player.
Bochlach sending it forwards. Headed on by Greenwood and Rousseau now chasing it down. Oklova does well. Bochlach. Ukraine coming to the left-hand side. Lashenko. Out for a Ukraine throw. Looking down the line. Into Lashenko. Carter jumping in front of it well, though. Makes the interception. Ball goes long again. Greenwood's making the challenge. Here's Letitia. And that is full time here at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. An uneventful evening on the Merseyside, but a comfortable 3-0 victory for England. Never looked troubled at any point in this game. And took advantage really of Not much pressure coming into this match. Goals from Jess Carter, Georgia Stanway and Beth Mead got the job done. Ultimately, though, they will have to go through the playoffs to qualify for the World Cup in Brazil.
Yeah, nice win for England. Did what they had to do. Unfortunately, though, Spain also winning, which we all expected to happen. But yeah, England couldn't have done much more on the night. A nice win. Not as comfortable as they probably would have hoped, but in terms of the scoreline, but very comfortable in terms of the momentum and the dominance of the football. And a nice way to round out the campaign and the season. And they'll be back, as you say, in the later this year to confirm they'll book their place through the playoff system. But a nice night for the Lionesses. Good to see some, Blinker Brown get 90 minutes, some run-outs as well for some other squad players. Bit more encouraging. But all in all, not a bad night for England. And Ukraine will take some positives from that result.
Yeah, not sure when the Finalissima is going to be played now. Because as far as my calculations I've done in my head, there isn't a gap now in the schedule before the World Cup, which would feel a bit weird to play it after the World Cup.
You can't really.
You can, but it's odd.
True.
Well, then we'll have a world champion. But yeah, it's a shame again with the Nations League. Now there aren't friendly gaps anymore in the schedule, so
they'll find a gap.
I just get rid of the Nations League.
There we go.
Winner.
Wow.
Easy gap.
Everyone wins.
But anyway, we are done for the 25-26 season. We're back in September to kick off 26-27 and it all starts again. Yeah, nothing between now and then. We'll just come back with the first ever self-stream on that Friday night. We're going to take 3 months off. But no, loads of transfer content will be coming out over the next few weeks and months. We'll be talking about rumours. We'll be talking about what teams should do, because obviously we know better. We'll be talking about everything that comes out in the world of women's football. So look out for all of that over the next 2 or 3 months until we get back to the WSL action in 26-27. Can't wait to get started again. We're just finishing. Looking forward to a bit of a break. Equally, cannot wait to get started again in September. Still lots to look out for in that time, though. If you are new and you've enjoyed this stream and haven't yet hit that subscribe button, make sure to do so you can stay up to date with all the content we're putting out over the summer, and join us then again in September for the start of the new season. That, though, is everything from us today. Thank you all that have joined us, and we will see you next time.